I remember the first time I ever learned about the 1970s inflation. I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. And but we all learned about it as if it was something that happened in the past. It will never happen again. And we learned about how the oil crisis contributed to it. And all that's something in the past, right? Those kind of circumstances will never occur again. Now, fast forward to 2021, I see a lot of echoing from the oil crisis. Obviously, oil might not be in such a crisis as it was in the mid 1970s, but some other things that we need in order to transport ourselves are, right? So right now, as I'm speaking, getting my car fixed, very difficult to schedule, right? Especially if you're on the move, right? Like somebody like me. And we got a labor shortage. Actually, the labor shortage is kind of interesting because I see a lot of places are hiring, and I went to apply to some of those jobs, and some of them I applied just for fun, just to experience it. Some of them, I need to connect with the locals, right? Because in a week from now, King County is going to require us to take this drug in order to basically live our lives. So I want to start working somewhere, even if it's a part-time job, get to know the person on hand, get to connect with the locality. And I see a lot of places playing games with their hiring process. So I was in Phoenix when I first encountered this. I had applied for a job at a fast food restaurant because one of my resolutions in 2021 was to get over my fear of loud environments. And I knew that restaurant would be very busy at a certain hour of the day, and I wanted to get over that. I've been making a lot of progress on getting over my fear of loud environments this past year, and I thought working part-time at a busy restaurant like that would just be graduation for me, right? Like a capstone to all the progress that I've made this past year. They put a now hiring sign on the door. I used to frequent that place a lot, and I applied, and first I didn't hear back from them, but I frequent that place, so I happened to see the GM, and I asked her, hey, how'd it go? And she said she liked me, but she had already filled the position. And I kind of took it at face value at first. I mean, it was kind of odd because I knew she liked me a lot during the interview and later, and I know there's a labor shortage, and so I thought it was a little bit odd. But then 2 days later, I see a new now hiring sign on the door. You see, as somebody with ADHD, that sticks out to me because I remember little details, right? People often claim that our flashbulb memories are inaccurate, but for me, they're pretty accurate, actually. But that wasn't the exception to the rule. That's been the rule as of late for all sorts of job interviews, right? Although there is another restaurant that I frequent here in Redmond. The owner and I know each other, and she actually asked if I wanted to work there. My schedule isn't as robust as it was. I do a lot of tutoring gigs now, and so I don't have really a reliable schedule that I could give her at the moment. But it's nice that I made the right connections here, right? And so the labor shortage feels kind of like the oil shortage of 50 years ago, right? Now I want to point something out. I think part of the reason the pandemic happened when it did is because it's been 100 years since the last pandemic, and most people who lived through the last pandemic are gone, right? And so we've kind of forgotten about the lessons of the last pandemic. You gotta remember, people who actually survived Spanish flu and had a strong immune system, they're the ones who are likely to live to be alive today, right? I don't know if there are any more Spanish flu survivors alive today. Now, if you think about all the other crises where the last humans alive are leaving now, the Great Depression comes to mind, World War I comes to mind. That's just really scary, in my opinion, because we tend to forget the lessons after we lose everybody involved in it, right? Just like when I was in 6th grade and I heard oil crisis, oh, that's a thing of the past, right? Inflation, that was a thing of the past. Stagflation was a thing of the past. Obviously, if you're watching this and you lived through the stagflation, you would feel differently, right?